welcome to episode 4 of Wheel of Pod.
That was a quite cold open we just did right there.
Listen, viewers and listeners, you will not have heard that cold open because I've edited it out. Because it's at the beginning and I only watched the first 15 minutes of these while I'm editing. But welcome. We just watched episode 6. Mm-hmm. What was it called? Can we see what its name was of the episode? It was something about the Flame of Tar Valon, I believe.
Tar Valon.
We are very excited to have Chris back.
Hello.
From our teaser episode.
Yes.
He's probably actually been able to make one of these episodes.
Yes.
Before we get into our summary, I believe Chris has a list of complaints he would like to air.
I do. These are things from past episodes that I jotted down while I was listening to them. So first of all, Jesse, it is Brandon Sanderson, not Brad Sanderson. You call him Brad Sanderson all the time.
His friends,
not just on the podcast, but it's Brandon Sanderson, not Brad.
His friends call him Brad.
Yeah.
Continue.
And also, this may be nitpicking, but it's the point of this podcast. Perrin's wife's name is Layla. She was a named character in the book. Perrin even said he likely would have married her if he had stayed in the Two Rivers.
Yes, I know that.
So you can quibble about whether she should have been killed, but let's not pretend she's a made-up character that had no connection to Perrin.
Yeah, but she ain't his wife.
No.
Listen, it'll go faster.
But
it'll go faster if you just stay quiet.
Okay. Okay. Another one, and I don't know if you ever circled back to this, but in the book, Nynaeve falls for Lan almost immediately. I had forgotten how quickly she falls for him, and I won't get into spoilers but there's a whole conversation, which we'll see if we get in the final episode between Lan and Nynaeve that feels way more advanced than it should have been.
I feel like they kind of teased it here when they were walking in the door, but
a little
continue.
bit. Okay, another one. In the books, there is a connection between the daggers and the half-men. Now, in the books, it's the reverse, where they can sense it. They can sense the dagger rather than the holder of the dagger can sensing the half-men. So I don't know if they're just trying to make that reciprocal. Let's see. Oh,
but I don't think they call them half men.
They've not yet called them half-men.
They call them the soulless or the eyeless.
Or the fades. I mean, the show's mostly called them fades.
Yeah. There's another interesting name, but it doesn't matter. Maybe it'll come up, maybe it won't. Okay. I talked about this offline, but I understand your concern, the fact that they don't mention that the town is called Emmons Field, but it really only matters at the very beginning of the books in the same way it only really matters at the very beginning of the show. They start calling it the Two Rivers almost immediately once they leave the immediate area of Emmons Field. Also, it's Loyal, not Lowell. Loyal, not Lowell.
I feel like even the show's not clear on that one, but continue.
I'm pretty sure they never said Lowell. That would be a W. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mentioned that to you also that the Mandragoran test could potentially be the name for a test on whether or not men are able to speak together about emotions without women present.
That is the one thing I agree with that you said. So excellent. All right. So now that Chris's litany of disputes is over, we can get to this episode, which I've got to say the show, we've talked about this every week, but I was very concerned about the show after episode 2, and I am no longer concerned. This was great.
I loved it. And as much as I was the first couple episodes going, these things are different. How's it going to work out? And I was nervous. And now it's almost exciting because I can watch it going, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. I can love that I can go in knowing everything I can about these books and still being like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. And yelling out loud. Y'all, if you're here, ever you've come into Inner Circle Vodka Bar, you will hear me yelling, apparently.
He was yelling at this episode a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
There's nobody here, by the way. You can't tell that, but it's nobody here.
Yeah.
It was a little different than other days where there are people in here, but
Jesse, you should insert some crowd noise.
All right, yeah.
Oh, and you know what? You keep doing this. You forgot to introduce us.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've been putting name tags above us on the screen, so but we can introduce ourselves. Yeah, just poke right up here. Right up here. I am Jesse Ulrich.
I'm Andy Cagle.
I'm Chris Miller.
And now I have to insert that earlier in the episode. So, all right, let's try to, in less than 20 minutes, unlike last time, summarize this episode. So, Andy, go. What happened?
All right. Well, I'll start
do your 3 tracks.
Okay,
tracks.
so first we get a great backstory on Suen Sanche. You get a little bit of that in the book, but in this case, you get to see her as a child. You get a little bit more of how Aes Sedai are treated with the Dragon's Fang on there, and that she had to go and she's tough and had to go make it on her own. And then it opens up to the White Tower, and I gotta say, I love the White Tower politics. It's one of my favorite things in the books. And it's one of the things I like about Game of Thrones. It's like that is that internal politics. But to see it and see like these women that you can tell like have power and authority and how they interact with each other, like it was awesome. It was so great to see. I think you mentioned earlier, but like the Blue Aja where they're all wearing blue, but it's distinctive, but you could definitely tell. And man, that was just incredible.
Mhm.
And so they are in front of Suan, who is are we allowed to cuss? I was going to
Sure.
say hard ass. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's
So
fine.
she was a hard ass. And she very much is in the books like that personality come across. And she heard out the sisters who brought in Logain
Abla.
Abla, and basically scolded them. Thank you for bringing him in. You should not have gentled him. And then we have Leandrin's outburst, where she basically manipulates and throws Moraine into the fire.
Mhm.
At which point, the Amerlin we learn later. It seems like she's just like going at her. Those are the things kind of new, but had to show that there's not a favorite. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to Chris now to kind of finish off the middle of what happened.
Okay. All right. So, after you're done with the scene, and I have to say before I go too much further, is this episode felt the most Wheel of Time to me because the tone and the themes around the White Tower is so intrinsic to the story.
It is like half of the middle books, pretty much.
Right. And so it felt like I was watching the Wheel of Time come to life, even more so than seeing some of the other stuff that we did. But okay, so after they leave the chamber, I'm probably going to get some of this out of order, but we have some of the stuff that's going on outside of the tower. So Moraine finds Matt and Rand, and Matt is having his his Bilbo moment where
his knife shakes.
What?
His knife shakes.
Yeah.
I believe I think it's Ars Tekka calls it knife madness.
Knife madness. Nice.
So,
but Moraine comes in, can obviously tell that there's something wrong with him and it's bad. Rand assumes that she's coming in to gentle him, and
Rand's
he
the worst.
freaks out and pulls out
But
a
he
sword.
does protect his friend.
He does.
Yeah.
Very
And then
random
also
thing to
gets
do.
his ass
It is.
handed to him.
Also
very random.
That's
true.
Beginning books.
That's true. Yeah.
It is. That is very much in his character to be sort of bland, overprotective, and get his ass kicked.
Yep.
That's sort of that's his main.
That's his
character arc.
oeuvre. Yeah.
So comes in and finally Moraine sees the dagger and starts sucking the poison.
Yeah.
Basically.
Also, just calling Matt stupid to his face,
Well,
which is great. Yeah.
Also very
Also,
appropriate.
He's
very
he's
appropriate.
being dumb.
He is stupid. I wish that they had touched on his when he tries to explain that. Oh no, you told me I couldn't take anything that was given to me.
Yeah.
I just stole this, so it was okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a very Matt thing to do. So in the books, they're like, we said you couldn't take anything. He's like, I didn't take it. It was given to me, but obviously that couldn't happen because he did take it. In this case.
Yeah. So so she sucks the evil out of Matt, and we'll get to some of the differences, but as she's talking to Rand about it, and there's still hints that he could be a channeler because she says that he's stronger than he should be, but she also says that she has healed his connection to the dagger, which we'll get into, but that is definitely
Very different from the books.
Very different from the books. And Nynaeve shows up and Moraine puts her in a place a little bit for
About time. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, she needed it.
she needed it. Yeah.
She needs it
You
a
know,
lot.
I mean, Nynaeve is one of my favorite characters, and she's definitely very proud. But sometimes she needs to be put in her place, and
yeah.
For sure.
especially at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. So and then I'll stick with the stuff outside of the tower. So a little bit later on, she also finds Egwene and Perrin. Finds Perrin with his back hurt, obviously cut up from the previous episode. Egwene passes on the rings, which was sort of an important moment for her. And Moraine says that she's going to heal Perrin, at least on the outside. And Egwene references that, those scars on the inside will stick with Perrin, which
Yeah. It's
is
like
a very Perrin
yeah,
thing.
it's like those scars remind him that the past is real. Anyway,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. So an interesting thing in this is that Moraine doesn't let either of the two groups know that she has found the other. So
Which I think she does just for fun. Like, she's like, yeah, I could tell him, but like, it'd be more fun this
Well,
way.
no, here's the thing. She is, what I love about this episode, she is manipulative.
yes.
Yeah.
And you don't see that right away in the books. But they're like, oh, yeah, she's manipulative. They show this way better
Yes.
of what she really is.
Yeah.
I think she's given too much of a, like, not savior, but like, oh, wise and the one in control and the one
Yeah.
who knows. She's manipulative. And I feel like in the books kind of gave the books and even the movies of Dumbledore, where it's like, oh, Dumbledore, like he's the one who's like really looking out for Harry and doing all this stuff. No,
No.
Dumbledore was also super manipulative.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it like takes you a while to come back and
Yeah.
be like, oh my
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
Listen,
He's like
yeah,
not saying things, he's keeping things secretive, he's throwing children into harm's way.
wearing
like,
wearing fantastic clothing.
yeah. And so
The whole book where he basically doesn't talk to
Yeah,
Harry
the
at
entire
all.
time, yeah.
it's like it's insane. And so like it's he's portrayed that way kind of like in Moraine, I feel like is portrayed that way as like smart and knowing and
Yeah.
doing these, but doing it for the right reasons. Where this time you're like, man, you get to see the manipulation. And I'm like, I love that because that's actually how she is.
Yeah.
But without having her with that context with the Aes Sedai in the books and this like this, I'm like, it is on display, and you're like, yeah, she is manipulative.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they showed that, and that was amazing to me.
Mhm.
Using blackmail, like all kinds
Okay,
of like crazy stuff.
Let's finish summarizing this episode, then we can get into
Okay.
the things
All
we
right,
liked.
All right. So the only other sort of significant thing happening outside the tower is that Moraine does get introduced to Loyal, the Ogier, which will play an important part later on. So then back at the tower, I'll just set it up and I'll let Jesse finish. But when Moraine comes back,
Bow, chicka, bow, wow.
Lan finds her wondering why she had masked their bond, which for those who aren't book readers, an Aes Sedai can actually mask the bond with their warder. Otherwise, their warder feels everything that they feel. Everything.
And the warders can do the same thing.
Yes.
And it's usually used for intimate moments.
Yes. So Moraine masks masks their bond and sends Lan on his way for the evening to stand guard.
And then we get what I think book readers were kind of hoping for, which is something that's only sort of hinted at in a prequel novel later on, is that the Amerlin Seat and Moraine are not only great friends, they are also
Pillow friends.
they are pillow friends and lovers, which is, I don't know, it's hinted at. It's I wouldn't even say implied, but is that they. Almost like they experimented in college, but that was the end of it. Is how I read the book.
It very much is. Like there's a
Yes.
term where when you go to an all women's college or school of magic, and
Yeah.
that's what it is. You have like the Sarah Lawrence,
I would say this is the
experimentation.
yeah. This is
where it's not necessarily approved, but people are like, oh, and that's their term for it is pillow friends. Like, oh, they're pillow friends. It's fine, but usually it's something that girls do while they're going
Yes.
through school and then kind of grow out of it and move on. And that's what it's been implied, that it doesn't outright say it, but a lot of people are like, oh, back in the day.
they mention pillow friends a lot when
Pillow
they're
friends
talking
a
about
lot.
going through.
It's normally when they're before they actually take the oaths.
Yes.
So normally they're expected to outgrow it once they take the oaths
Yes.
to become a true Aes Sedai.
And
When
in
they're
that case,
novices
then
and
only have weird sex with warders.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
way better.
Yeah, and then
that power dynamic's not
and
weird
then
at
only-
all.
yeah.
definitely the green, right?
yeah,
The other
and-
ones
No, it's
don't.
all of them.
and
Do all
then
of them have
well,
sex with the warders?
But
no,
green most
it's
of
mostly
all.
the greens, and the greens are the ones that have multiple warders. So
I've heard that
that's
the
where
green
triples-
are the horniest.
They are the horniest, yeah. Listen, like I mean, the show's already thrown us a throuple. That was almost a, I don't know how you pronounce the
Quadruple?
Quadruple. There you go. And I just gotta say, I was happy for both of them. They both have very stressful jobs. They need a little relaxation time. I will say they added a new magical power, which was transportation, like
so
teleportation.
It's not
I guess.
new. It actually is a whole section of the book where it causes problems that they can't have traveling, and they have to try to discover how to
Yeah,
travel.
that was
In
the thing they
fact,
had to learn.
So I don't think that's what happened.
That's what I'm wondering.
Well, there was a thing above the fireplace that was obviously a magical thing they made.
I think
while
there's
they
like
were
a hidden
friends.
room. I just think the hidden room is made up to look like it.
I was wondering if it was
Is
actually,
that magically imbued room?
You know, I guess we'll find out. We don't know
We'll
for
find
sure.
out.
But
What's
my opinion is that they was like, oh, using magic, there's some hidden rooms.
and maybe they used illusion to make it look like
illusion.
Yeah.
because to make it look like her childhood
Yeah.
home. The fact that
Which
it looks
is-
like her childhood home,
Yeah. Which
burned
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
I don't
like,
think
would-
it traveled
hold on.
there.
The quick poll. Would you want to have sex in your childhood room? I would not.
Oh,
That seems weird. All right. Well, that's why we differ on Willipod. Whatever floats your boat, we say. Don't yuck other people's yums.
Yeah, no. When I was a kid, I had a waterbed because that was a thing
Oh yeah.
in the 80s. And I don't know why, but I had a waterbed and it was weird and fine as a kid. But I was like had it as a teenager. But like as I got to a teenager and old enough to actually start having sex, I did not have the waterbed any longer. So I would like to kind of like a throwback instead of like.
you
wanna
want to
have-
on the
yeah,
want to try it out on the water
Listen,
bed?
I am pretty
I've
sure.
heard it's terrible, and like
Yeah.
It sounds
imagining
terrible.
it's like having
All you
sex
have to do
on
is think about it for a
trampoline. You think
second.
It would be
Yeah.
good, and then you realize no, this
No,
is terrible.
it's
think
hard
it's-
to get leverage.
I think it's even worse
Let's
on
get-
a waterbed than as a
I think
trampoline.
because like
but-
waterbed's like just hardcore. Like it's if you've never
can't,
slept
like-
on a waterbed, there's a reason
Let's get
no
into
one
this.
has them
Yeah.
anymore.
Welcome to Aes Sedai Pillow Talk.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into this.
Listen, you would totally like tear your ACL trying to like hold your body in position. Anyway,
I mean,
all
but I
right.
would like to try it. You
Yeah.
know? It's the same thing as like the hammock.
now,
like
if it was
the fishing
childhood
hammock.
countertop, I mean, maybe
Oh wow! All right.
countertop and an inn
Yeah.
actually is my preference.
Yeah, like I mean the kitchen and then
Yeah.
the cleanest place. All right, so we find out. God, we are terrible at summarizing. All right, so we find out that they are lovers and friends, and I'm gonna quickly summarize the rest of it. Moraine tells the Emerald Seat that she needs to be exiled because she's been ordered home. You learn that they have been together on this quest for Moraine to find the Dragon Reborn because they heard of a prophecy when they were novices. They don't use these terms. That's what they are. It's a very Harry Potter situation. They both just happen to be in the place where a prophecy was said about when
the
the dragon.
wheel.
Yeah, it's the wheel. Yes, the wheel.
Hey,
I
the
know,
wheel
but
weaves,
the wheel is
wheel.
great.
Says the wheel.
The wheel is great for plot devising.
No,
for
I
plot
know,
pacing.
but it's intentional. I think it's one of the things I do appreciate about these is that they're not pretending like it's happenstance. It's like, no, the wheel makes
The
it
wheel.
happen. If you don't like the coincidence, too bad. The wheel made it
Yeah.
happen.
Listen, the wheel's great for plot. Okay, go. I got 30 seconds. Okay. All right.
There's still a lot left.
Yeah. So Moraine makes a plan to both be exiled and to have Lan take the Two Rivers people.
One thing,
yes,
Swan mentions where where they need to go.
yes.
She had the dream about the Eye of the World.
Yes, the Eye of the World. The name of the first book gets mentioned. Now we know
Take a
where.
drink.
What was that?
I said, take a drink. It's
Oh.
like when you're watching a movie and
Yeah.
if they say the name of the movie in the movie, you're supposed to drink.
We're almost we almost got some more Dark One's taint, but it was a different evil person's taint.
Yeah.
So sad.
Mhm. A different taint.
Yeah. Drink one for the Dark
the
One's
Dark
taint.
One's taint.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also just like to say that I'm putting together a drinking game. So not for the next week, but the very last episode, it's going to be more of a celebration and a drinking game. I think
All right.
100% in order.
Yeah.
I'll draft up the rules.
Excellent.
I'll print it beforehand. Y'all can play along at home.
Sweet.
We'll put it out on our.
Yeah.
Follow us on Facebook and
yes.
all the other
Yes.
social media places.
Subscribe and all the things.
I
All right.
assume we're on TikTok.
No. I have so much time in the day. Okay. So we get, I think, what is really a pivotal moment in the show, which is at the end, we get the whole group together to enter the ways.
Well, first of all, you missed the whole thing where she was exiled.
Yeah,
I mentioned that.
You mentioned it, but
Okay.
like that
All
is
right.
the
Let me go back. Let me go for
very emotional
yes.
piece.
So even though it was her plan, Moraine gets exiled in a very emotional, I would say, ripped straight out of Star Trek: The Next Generation Klingon dishonor scene, where all of the other women turn their backs on her as she has to walk out in shame. It is powerful. She is upset, as we all would be.
Yeah.
Rejected by both her friends and enemies.
Even though she
And
asked for it.
lovers.
And lovers, yeah. Even though she asked for it, it's still sad.
And she basically was like, by oath, separated from her
Yes,
lover.
we get to see the oath stick, which again, for
Oath
non-book
rod.
readers, you're gonna be like, oh, it's a stick. Like the oath rod? Oath rod.
Oath
It's
rod.
rod.
That's, I'm gonna call it the oath stick.
Like you wanted to call it the dragon's tooth instead
yeah.
of the dragon's fang.
Oh yeah, we forgot. Okay, hold on. We need to go back for a second.
No,
so,
we're not.
okay,
Now you're the one who's
you're
extending
you're right.
the
I'm
telling.
sorry. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so she's exiled. She meets Alan and the party from the Two Rivers at a waygate. The ways being a creation of both men and women channelers thousands of years ago, creating a way to quickly get around the world.
Not to actually you there, but I thought it was actually just the men who created
Nope.
it, with the ones that were being sheltered in the steadings. I thought as a thank you for that they created the ways specifically for the Ogier so they could travel back and forth between steadings.
You might be right, because like at the same time the book is telling you that, they're also telling you about the pool of
I
untainted
think you're
power
mixing it up
that
with
was
that.
both men and women. So maybe that's what it was. Yeah, I'm actually, so I'm so
And
glad.
I think the way it describes it is perfect because it's a it's a little bit different. It might be a little bit different from the book because it's a travel system outside of space and time.
Yeah.
Space and time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Space and time.
Space and time.
Yeah. And it's been naturally sort of corrupted by, evil.
Mushin Chin.
Yeah,
Mushin.
I'm not even gonna try to
Mushin.
pronounce that one. As we all know, I'm terrible at pronunciation. So
The dirty wind, as I like to call
yeah,
it.
it's so dirty. It's just like the Dark One's taint. It's like Dark One's taint if he farted, and then it's a Dark One's taint fart. Oh, the Dark One's fart. There we go. All right.
No.
Anywho,
We'll workshop that.
here's the thing: it eats you. It's gross. We don't want it.
Yeah.
And the episode ends with, oh my god, all of them going through the Waygate except for Matt.
Except for
Oh!
Which again, as 3 book readers, we were like, what the fuck just happened? Matt goes with them the entire story. And I for one, love this because one,
Yeah.
they have to explain why Matt changes actors in between seasons. And
I know.
2, because Matt does not like being ordered around.
It's true. I wrote down if we want to. I have thoughts about them recasting the Matt. I don't know because I'm very
I thought he
sad
did a
about
great
that
job.
because the actor they've had has been
Yeah,
awesome.
here's the
I
thing.
also just really imagine as like this, like if this were real life, like they go through the Waygate and then Matt looks around, he's like, shit, why we let the horses go?
Yeah. Yeah.
What am I doing here?
So the 3 of us got very excited at the end of the episode because normally, as a book reader watching a TV show made from a book you love, you kind of want them to stick to the story. But we know this book series is too long for them to do that. They're going to have to cut
Right.
and tweak and change things. And we were all excited about this change, which I feel like has not happened so far. We were all on board with the change that just
Yeah.
happened. So
Because we were so excited, like as like it's closing, we're just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
that's not gonna go. That's not gonna go.
yeah, and like so let's
It
talk
is a
about,
very Matt thing to do.
it is
right.
yeah.
I
So
think they've nailed the characters. Like
Right.
that's the thing. They're not doing the exact same thing. They're not saying the exact same thing,
Yeah.
but they are nailing their
He
personality.
hasn't gambled yet, but I know that comes later. But
beginning.
I know that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Almost too early, some would say.
But
Yeah.
he hasn't gambled with the. I don't know if that would be a spoiler. I don't even know if they're going to do it. But when he gains luck,
Yes. Oh yeah. Spoiler alert. I'll probably add that
the
out.
Dark One's own luck.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like
You're
Matt,
not gonna edit it
Matt
out.
gets some. Yeah, I'm not. I don't have that kind of time. Matt gets some really awesome powers later, and I'm excited about it. But anyway,
Or maybe he won't.
or
Who
maybe he
knows?
won't. Who knows?
We don't
I couldn't
know.
find-
We
We
don't know.
Listen, we'll talk. We can't talk about this because they'll spoil things. But yeah, Matt is left. Matt's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck Matt's gonna do, but that's where the episode leaves us, and we have 2 more episodes of season 1, and so they're gonna. So let's before we predict what we think what's gonna happen, let's talk
Yeah.
about what we liked and what we didn't like from this episode. Those things can also include book changes that we both liked and disliked. I will go first.
Okay.
The show is doing, I think, what I wish Robert Jordan had done early in the books, which is give us that sweet, sweet White Tower infighting crap. Because
Yeah.
the middle of this book series is filled with it. And I'm like, why didn't I get this earlier? Because these are incredibly powerful people fighting over their own beliefs, agendas, secret agendas. And this is where like the power of the world that they are living in rotates around this tower, and we don't get it early enough. And I love seeing it now. I'm so happy they introduced it, and they're not just jumping from tavern to tavern with Matt going insane.
Yeah. Because you don't get the Amerlin seat until the second book, and you don't get much White Tower intrigue until what, the third or fourth?
Yeah, whenever Robert Jordan decides to go back to Nynaeve and Egwene. So
yeah, Egwene.
Whatever.
Well, you get a little bit of them training, but you don't get the intrigue.
Yeah,
that's not till later on. So like, I love the fact that they brought on her.
Yeah, bring it, because I mean, here's the thing: in the book, it sort of just happens all of a sudden that like big things are happening in the White Tower. But this, like, you have to see this earlier in a TV show, otherwise people will be like, "Why should I care?"
Yeah.
So,
One thing I do miss from the books, at least the audio version, is the like 30 to 45 minute long intros that the books have, where it's like before the first chapter. It's like like 30 to 45 minutes of something. You're like, is this really something that I need? I'm wondering how they're gonna try to work that into the show.
Yeah,
it's gonna it would take an entire episode to capture each of those.
I mean, I just want to point this out real quick. Like, the Game of Thrones showrunner specifically talked about how they didn't want to use flashback. They used it, like, I think a total of like 3 times over the 8 seasons. Wheel of Time can't be told that way. You have to give us character context because there's so many characters, there's so many agendas. And I like how the show is not afraid to be like, we're going to show this character who you haven't even met yet, her sort of childhood story.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
not to go back to a previous the previous episodes too much, but I thought the way they developed the warder in the last episode.
Oh yeah.
Which, you know, I don't remember if he was in the book or not. It doesn't really particularly matter. But in a short period of time, they were able to pretty significantly develop that character and make you care about him before he then went off and killed himself.
Unlike Aaron's wife. Anyway, continue.
I cared about her.
I mean,
just because you're heartless. Just
No,
because you're heartless.
I care about her
You're
too. I'm
heartless.
just saying the show didn't give me time to like her. Anyway, all right. So
she has a name, you know.
Yeah.
Layla.
I really need to get a Layla drop. I'm gonna work on that this weekend. Okay, but we were talking about
things we liked.
Yeah, things we liked, and I would say maybe focus on. I don't know how much we should focus on book changes, but I feel like those are the things we're gonna. They're gonna occur to us the most. So
I think Andy and I both agree on this. I'm very interested to see what they're gonna do with Matt and the dagger, because they sort of
big change.
Completely flipped it. In the books, he is temporarily healed, and as part of that, he can't have the dagger taken away from him, otherwise he'll die.
Yeah.
And in this, it's sort of the opposite.
Which at first, that made me go, "Oh my god!" Like, that's a huge plot for the next book. But then I was like, "Man, am I upset about that? No."
You're like, wait, that was really stupid in the second book, like the stupid knife. So it's a good change.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was, because here's the thing: you want characters to go through good times and bad times and have growth and everything else. But like Matt, who's corrupted and evil and sulky.
Annoying.
It's annoying, and it doesn't last too long. The books are what they are, and I love them, but they last too long.
He's like Harry Potter and Order of Phoenix.
I was gonna say, if you didn't like the Order of the Phoenix, you're not gonna like Matt in book 2.
Right. And and I hope they kind of do the same thing with Rand, where like you see it, but then you're like, okay, let's get back to them, like,
let's move
being
it on.
the enjoyable
God,
stuff.
Jesus, yeah.
And so I was like, oh, am I gonna miss him still being moody or whatever? And they're like, nope, you're healed. So we don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But especially now he's separated, where she goes, we're like before, where she's like, don't take anything, and then he's like, oh, this will be fine. He's like, oh, I'm gonna be on my own, and then like, oh, maybe he's not here. Like, who knows? And here's what I love about it is I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
We don't know what's gonna happen,
which is awesome and very exciting. And like, it keeps me more on the edge of my seat. Like, it's been really exciting.
Another change that I think I'm hoping it's just expedience, and he shows up in season 2, and that's Elias not being in there yet. I'm hoping we get some kind of because if you think about it, in the book, he shows up very briefly.
Yep.
And is with them for a little while, and then the stuff with the White Cloaks happens. He gets injured, and then he goes away for a while.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. You don't see him again for a long time.
So I'm wondering if rather than doing that short introduction and then having him disappear, they're just saving him for that later time.
I have a feeling because he's gonna need a mentor sometime.
Yeah, right. Someone has to teach Perrin about his new powers
and the
that
way
he
he
has.
learns about in the book is gonna be really hard to film.
Yes.
God, oh jeez. All right, let's not get into spoilers, but well, the wolf dreams. Yikes. Yeah. Okay.
But so I'm wondering. So one of the things that I'm struggling with a little bit with a lot of the changes is because I don't know that I can know right now whether they're good or bad. I don't know that we'll know until season 3 or 4 if some of these changes were good or bad. Yeah. There's some of them that kind of like, oh, okay, they irk me a little bit. It's like, oh, that was a thing I liked, and you didn't do that thing, right?
So
there's some of that.
I'd rather nitpick the things that are left out of the books that maybe would be better in the episodes as the TV show was the way it is. Like, here's what I would have liked to seen. They've kind of mentioned it, but it would have been a bigger deal if Nynaeve and Egwene saw Perrin's eyes and was like, holy shit, bro, your eyes.
Yeah.
Maybe not use those exact words, but like have a little bit of more of that and like start to see the changes where like, hey, because it was a happy moment when they saw each other. I'm like, yes, but it would have been nice if like they did it and been like,
his
like,
eyes went nuts.
You don't look great, you don't look great, but like actually been like, oh, we're starting to grow apart.
So
already,
right? I didn't get a good look. Did his eyes go back to normal?
Yes.
After? Okay.
Yes.
Because I know in the book they do.
They kind of stay, yeah.
And so that's to your point when they.
Well, I thought they were permanent. Maybe I just didn't pay attention close enough.
No, I didn't get a good enough look to see if that's why I was asking.
I
didn't see his eyes being still yellowish.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I mean the fact that
please email us at we don't give a shit about your opinions at gmail.com about whether his eyes were yellow or not.
Yeah.
Well, but it's also like they didn't like do zoom in, so maybe they were. We didn't notice.
I feel like
he spends
they would have said
a lot of time like keeping his eyes down to keep people from noticing. But the fact that, to your point, that Egwene didn't really react other than saying like, "Oh, he helped me," right, and didn't seem to mention the fact that he kind of literally wolfed out. And his eyes changed. I mean, that had a reaction to him. And that was also Perrin then had a reaction to their reaction. I mean, that's part of the story. So yeah, we'll see how they address that.
And I should have mentioned this in my summary, but there is a great scene between the Emerald Seat, Egwene and Nynaeve that is just mwah. It was because like Nynaeve is a very arrogant, smart, strong person, but like she's a small person in a much larger world, and people stronger than her have to keep pointing that out.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. Again, by the way, a scene where women talk only about women things, not about men at all. So there we go.
Well, I did that. I mean, there was always those parallels in the books too between Swan, Sanche, and Nynaeve. Because from a personality standpoint,
they're very similar.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of similarities. The fact that they both came from relatively humble places and humble beginnings to try to, become important, powerful people.
And they're both powerful, not only in actual power, because Swan, and he kind of mentioned, that is one of the most powerful until Nynaeve came along. Yeah, not the most powerful.
Can we talk about this? This is a fantasy trope that I don't like, which is like the most powerful becomes the leader. Like just because you're powerful does not make you wise or smart.
It's not necessarily the case with there's sort of like they expect a certain baseline of power in the Amarlin seat, but it's not always the most powerful.
Okay, yeah. Which they get into later. I was just like, but they were mentioning that a lot.
Well, no, I think that like definitely comes up in the book. So not to spoiler alert, like up through book like 7 or 8 of the books, but you find other people who have the ability to channel besides Aes Sedai, and they're all give authority and respect and power in different ways. And the Aes Sedai do it by who's most powerful, not necessarily the leaders, but they are giving like the most respect. And I don't know if they're going to do this in the TV show, but yeah, like like literal power is one
Yeah.
of the biggest thing with the Aes Sedai,
Yeah.
and it's definitely pointed out. It's not like, oh, we're just gonna look at this and let it go. It's definitely pointed out by different groups, by different people, by certain Aes Sedai themselves,
Right.
that this makes no sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And they're expected to defer to somebody who's more powerful than them in the power.
Yeah,
But
no matter
they're
what,
elected
no
leader-
matter what just happened.
And that's
if
so
you
hard
learn
to
later.
show, so I don't think that's
Yeah.
maybe going to be the way
Yeah.
of the TV show. So it'll be interesting to see.
We'll wait until we run to the wise ones. Spoiler for later.
Yes.
But
so-
we did get clues, which I liked.
So
We
many
got
clues.
ships disappearing.
Yeah.
In the east,
Mhm.
we have the Aiel starting like popping up in the
Yeah.
west.
Yep.
These are definitely like big, like the blues are the ones who have the networks, the spies. They're
Oh
the ones
yeah,
who find out what's going
there's a
on.
whole spy, like there's a whole thing in
Yeah.
the books later on
Everyone
about
has
the
a spy
blues.
network, but the
But
blues,
the blues
are
they are the spy masters.
they're the
Yes.
spy masters.
They have
You
a
know.
don't they have somebody who's called like the Mistress of Spies
Yes,
or
they
something
do.
like that?
They do. It was
That's
fascinating.
fine.
Yeah, it was fascinating to learn about that. Like, and the Airman seat was originally a blue, even though when you become the seat, you become all colors.
And
but that's
none.
and none.
And
but
you're
that's
not
bullshit.
supposed to mention it.
Um,
So
yeah,
when
it gets
Leandrin
mentioned.
did, we're like,
Woo!
and,
Yeah,
like,
that was
you see all the Aes Sedai like
listen,
look at
there was a lot of shade being thrown in multiple directions, like the Airman seat bringing up Moraine's like regal
You're
background.
not supposed to do that either.
You're not supposed
Yeah.
to do that either. And then
one thing I did like is it's another tie into the book. They're talking about in the book they there's a little bit more exposition on it, but Moraine kind of after being gone for a long time, not understanding some of the political changes in the tower, right? And one of the things they reference were the Greens supporting the Reds, which is
Yes.
something that hadn't happened for thousands of years.
yeah,
And they do show that in this when
And they show it in the book, and then like that was a good nod for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought here's the thing. This is so just to talk about what I like about the thing, about the show, the episode,
tell us
all
what
of
you like
it,
about the thing.
the thing.
It was the lesbian
this was
scene.
No, this was a episode with no action. Like this was all
Sure.
exposition.
I
If
believe
you
two
have-
people got two had some action. Anyway,
It was-
But usually when a show is one where it's like, hey, we're gonna set up an entire of the 8, one like there's not that many. We're gonna have a whole episode where you're just gonna get backstory and what's
Yeah.
happening and exposition, but like nothing's really gonna happen. You'd be like, that's dumb. This has probably it might be the 4th was really good,
Mhm.
but I think this might be my favorite episode. Where really all they did is they'd already kind of arrived
Yeah.
or about to arrive,
Mhm.
and they're at Tar Valon, sorry.
It's Tar Valon
I
to me,
know.
damn it.
I know. Tar Valon forever. But no, like there isn't. There's just like not a lot happening. Which the fact that they can make that really exciting
hmm
was awesome. And which is what I think Game
Yeah.
of Thrones did really well, even when there wasn't battle. Just like the power dynamic and you try and
Mm.
figure things out
Yeah.
was really exciting. So I'm glad
Yeah.
that they could actually do that and make it work. And that gave me really good high hopes for the rest of the
I
season.
mean, just a reminder: the best scenes in Game of Thrones were usually two people talking in a room.
Yeah.
And I
And
think
usually
we're
one of,
seeing
the,
that.
Or
one
the
of those people.
Expanse.
Yeah, oh, The Expanse, yeah.
Similar.
Yeah, it's usually either Tyrion in Game of Thrones or Avasarala in The Expanse in a
Yeah.
room talking to someone is the best scenes of the story.
Yeah.
I will say we learned a couple things about Moraine this episode, which is like one, like she's a blue, so she's part of the spy network. 2, she has dirt on a lot of Reds, and when she's
I bet she had thrown on everyone.
and when she's pushed, like she didn't have time for is it Lindarn? Is that how you pronounce her name? I'm terrible.
Leandrin.
Landrin?
Leandrin.
Whatever.
So close.
Was not was just didn't have time for her shit.
Right.
And it was like, I know you have a guy. Not only does she have a male lover, which is not a Red thing,
Right.
that male can channel. Is that,
That-
that's
that
the implication I got?
That appears to be the implication because
Yeah.
why else would the Reds go and kill her just because?
mean,
she's
j-
big?
I
I mean,
mean-
maybe.
No, I don't think it was
Listen.
Chandler.
Okay.
That's what you might have gotten. I think like I can understand where they would kind of show that. I think it's literally just a lover. Like you're not supposed to like men that way.
Yeah.
As a Red, like letting the sisters know doesn't mean like she's gonna be killed.
Yeah. So, but the Reds aren't allowed to just attack a random person. So
Well,
what
no,
would
but
they
here's
do?
the thing. No, because Landrin is one who definitely is seeking out power. She will lose a lot of power, not necessarily her life. This is found out. But also, I think here's my prediction. It's not that, oh, this is a person you can channel.
Okay.
While Moraine might have meant, hey, I'm going to tell him about your lover.
I mean, yeah.
Landrin is probably
yeah.
thinking,
he can probably channel something. You know what I'm saying?
well, not that he can channel, but this could have, probably a spoiler alert, could be a dark friend, could be something that's actually way worse than almost anything. And so Landrin's probably like, oh, crap.
Yeah. So I would like to bring up the Aes Sedai aren't allowed to lie sort of situation.
Yeah.
Where when Moraine is questioned by the Emerald Seat, you're not allowed to lie, but you're allowed to not answer.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So because she was like, I'm not gonna tell you.
I mean, that's the thing. The whole thing about the Aes Sedai can't lie, but the truth they tell, it may not be the truth you think. Right. So it's the same way.
You can lie by omission.
Yeah. You can just not.
Wasn't she lying by omission then?
You cannot say false things with your mouth. That's what the oath is.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very literal.
It is incredibly literal. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the oath she did in the episode itself. I mean, it's literally, she is literally bound to the literal words of that. Right? Which means that she could not return to the tower unless she was asked back. So
are we on Drax the Destroyer's planet where everything is very literal?
I mean,
anyway,
well, it is for the Oath Rod.
Yeah,
that's true.
The Oath Stick, I've heard it called.
Yeah, the Oath Stick. Yeah, listen, I've heard both ways.
Yeah.
Listen, it's a like an Oath Rod.
The dragon's tooth fang.
The dragon, yeah. So
I remember it almost hurt me, but when we were having a Harry Potter event and someone called it a choosing hat.
Choosing hat.
That's what it reminds me of.
The whole choosing hat.
Listen, I feel like the Oath Stick is. I feel like, listen, Oath Stick I think is better than choosing hat, but whatever.
No, it's on the same level.
Listen, Oath Rod makes it sound overly sexual. I feel like.
Oh no! Here's the thing. I actually thought it was a little bit more sexual in my kind of interpretation of the readings than it was.
That's fair.
Because I don't want to go into it. We only got the time.
Yeah.
Well, so I've really enjoyed what they've done with Loyal, though. I mean, obviously, I understand they couldn't make him, oversized.
No, but I was really hoping he was riding an actual pony.
Yeah.
Because the description of him when he was on a large horse made it seem like a pony. So if they had something
they where
they're like, oh, and he comes out on like a really small horse, and even they explain it away, we're like, sorry, we couldn't get you a bigger horse. Like that just would have been really funny.
Yeah.
To me.
I'm glad the show doesn't have a sort of an Ian McKellen Gandalf situation where they don't have an actor who doesn't like riding horses. Like, spoiler alert, people, in the Lord of the Rings movies, Gandalf is never actually on a horse. He does not like riding horses. Horses do not like him. So it's all like mechanical.
Not even Shadowfax?
Not even Shadowfax.
Oh.
The Lord of Horses. God, we're such fucking nerds.
We should have a competition on like how many like fantasy horses we could name.
Oh God,
fantasy
I
horses.
don't know.
Bella.
Yeah. Justice for Bella again. They just let her go without naming her.
Are we even sure Bella still?
No, we're not. Because they don't name her.
Trying to imagine one of the horses when all the horses go. I'm like,
is this like a thing where fantasy movies and shows get adapted? Because the same thing happened in Lord of the Rings.
With Bill, yeah.
With what was
Bill. His name was Bill.
Bill, yeah. Yeah, they don't have Bill. Bill was a big character.
He was a big character. And there was like, well, find your way home, Bill. Good luck.
Yeah.
Which is another like famous horse. What about Atreyu? Or is that the kid's name?
No, that's the kid. Artax.
Ooh.
It's like
Artax. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not good at pronunciation, so I'm not gonna try it. But listen, it's not a big deal. I just like to nitpick it, which is like Bella literally gets name dropped
a lot, though.
At least 50 times in the first half of the book.
So until the books ended, there was a lot of theories about Bella. Like, and some were like half-hearted, and some were like really serious.
There is Bella is a plot device in that it helps hint at who is the channeler, who is the potential dragon in the book.
Well, it also follows important people. Yeah. And you don't realize it, but like Bella kind of like carries some of like things that carry the storyline.
Yeah.
She was an emotional connection to home. She was like a friend.
Yeah.
Like again, you can tell characters are good people by how they take care of their sort of pet servants, right? Yeah. Like if someone takes care of a horse, they're a good person. Right?
Did you say pet servants?
Pet servants, yeah.
So what I
So sorry,
I've heard this complaint before where a lot of
Dragon Tooth. No one's gonna get our Dragon Tooth references, but whatever. Anyway, yes, Andy.
a lot of writers, a lot of fantasy writers who don't have like as much experience with animals and everything else, basically treat like horses in fantasy novels almost as like giant dogs.
yeah.
And for like
Like
people who
Brad
have been around,
Sanderson.
yeah, I've been people who are around horses a lot are like that's not no, they're horses. Like they can still show personality, but
Yeah.
they're not dogs.
Yeah.
And I think we see that too much. And I think Robert Jordan did a good job of like not doing that.
I want to see a story where they have dogs, but the dogs act like horses. Just to
Ooh.
flip it around.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Flip
you could have
that
giant
script.
dogs
that
that you
no one
ride on.
knows, and then it's just
Just ride giant dogs, maybe.
Yeah.
That'll fix it.
Listen, like there are giant dogs in Doctor Who this season. If anyone's watching, so
But
anyway,
I don't think anybody is.
nope, nobody is watching.
Yeah, try not to mention Doctor Who. Those were our lowest
true.
performing podcasts when
Sorry,
we used to do.
sorry. Listen,
do our nerd
I don't think our
podcast.
numbers can get any much lower anyway. But okay, so were there?
People are waiting to the end of the season and they want to binge it all.
That's true. So here's a question: because they're changing so much from the books, it's hard to mention one particular book change per episode. I just honestly, the ending with separating Matt, I'd like it, but I'm also unsure about what they're going to do with it. So I don't
Yeah.
know if I like it yet. I'm just excited
like
about it.
that's a major change.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
dagger was a huge change
Yeah.
with implications. You know,
So I was trying to think in the first book, right?
yes.
I don't know if this gets into spoilers, but does Matt play any significant part other than being along for the
No,
ride?
he does not.
So some of these changes, I wonder, is it because
It makes more sense.
it makes more sense,
Yeah,
right?
here's the
He
thing.
was just
Half of those characters
everyone
don't need
was-
to be there for this.
everyone
So
was there because everyone was together, right?
yeah,
It wasn't like there were only a few people who played a significant role
Yeah.
at the end,
If-
and I don't think Matt did anything.
yeah. I'm wondering if this is how they. I don't want to spoil it, but there are characters who are going to show back up, maybe, and maybe Matt runs into them again
Well,
now.
that's what I'm wondering.
Like, yeah, what's going to happen? Like, where is? Here's the thing. Here's my concern. They only have 2 episodes left to tell a lot of story, and I don't want them spending time on Matt right now.
I
Like,
know.
he's not important to me.
We may not get a lot from Matt. I
Maybe.
mean, this could be it for Matt till next season,
Maybe.
or maybe we'll get like a little teaser at the end
Yeah.
of the season or something.
It'd
like
be
that.
great if like we never see that actor again.
No, well, I think it'd be really funny. It's like, you
like,
know,
hey, I'm
of the
Matt.
next 2 episodes,
No,
you have
you're
like
not.
a
Yeah.
30-second thing where it's like, I wonder what Matt's doing.
Yeah.
He's just like in a gambling hall, just
Yeah,
throwing knives.
or like
Yeah.
he gets into a bar fight and like when his face recovers, he's the new actor, like one of those things. Anyway, okay, so all right, so at the end of the episode, they are heading
into the waves.
into the ways towards the Eye of the World. To well, here's the thing, like they're not going to defeat the Dark One. It's 14 books long, so things are going to get in the way.
What?
Yeah,
What?
they defeat the Dark One at the end of the
First book.
And then the
The Eye
rest
of
of
the
the
World.
books are just different endings. It's
Yep,
just
just
an
fluff, yeah.
homage. I mean, it is an homage to Lord of the Rings.
it's literally like
So
taking the
it's
end of
just
Return of the King
It
to
is.
its
It's
yeah.
just that for the remaining 13
Yeah.
books.
Oh.
There's a lot of jumping on beds.
This guy
Oh,
again.
I would love to have a. That's what we missed.
A jumping
Here we
on
go.
bed scene?
We should have had them meeting in a tavern so they can jump on the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah.
I would like to throw it out to both of you and the internet. The theory I learned about recently that in that bed jumping scene that Frodo has forgotten Legolas's name because he says he mouths everybody's name until Legolas comes in and he's like, "Hey," and then says nothing, which I think is hilarious. Anyway, go back and watch it. I think
Oh,
he's
God.
forgotten
Sounds like
Legolas's
something I
name.
would do 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
Hey,
he's like,
elf guy.
he's literally like Gimli, and then he's like, anyway, like it's
Wow.
very clear. Yeah. Anywho, so we don't want to spoil the books. We don't want
Are
to
we
spoil the
doing?
show.
So are we going for try to predict what we think is going to be in the next episode?
Yes. Yeah. Let's predict.
Welcome
mean-
to the next episode.
So, do we get one full episode on the ways? You think?
I don't
No,
think.
there's no
I
way.
hope not.
No, I think we'll get maybe. We'll definitely get some time in there. I wonder if they'll drop some hints around, somebody following them. They're in the book. They see some evidence of others' passage, which is significant. So I wonder if we'll get some references to that. And then,
We gotta get some Fardala.
yeah,
Is that how you pronounce it?
Sure. Well, here's the thing. That might be how we pronounce it. Let's see what the show does.
yeah, right.
Yeah, but there's
I think
yeah.
within the first like 15, 20 minutes, I think they'll be out of the ways and into
I mean, the ways are super creepy. I hope they give us like a real dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I like as someone who just reread the first book, I would like to go to Fardala and like sort of meet the people who've been fighting the battle for a lot longer than we've known it existed, right?
Yeah.
And
learn more about land. Like I would like to have some land backstory.
Here's the question:
episode.
Are like
Alan Mandragoran.
Yeah, and I apologize for people who have not read the books, but are they just gonna not do the Green Man at all?
I don't know, but I mean, we'll
like,
see.
It's kind of important, but they can also just write their way out of it.
This just before that, I don't necessarily like the end of the first book. So
yeah, it's weird.
It's weird. And
it's weird, and it happens very quickly.
How many times I read it, it really just does not make sense in my head. So I'm 100% excited for them to change it. This will probably be the one thing they're book accurate. I'm just gonna be like, what?
No.
It's because like
confusing. It was like,
yeah,
what happened?
It's just gonna be like a huge end. It's gonna be real weird.
I think it's gonna be like, you know, the love scene where we're like, where are they? Did they teleport?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, what even happened? Are we thinking explain later? Or are we just gonna forget like this is a thing we have questions about?
So okay, I think they will. My guess is they'll end the episode either at the Eye of the World or close to it. But I hope we get
a full episode of like
the Borderlanders, the going through the Blight.
Yes.
Because I want to feel like the Blight is a land where everything there is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
I don't know that
and why
we
is
need
that?
a whole episode.
And why is the Blight that way? What has it been infused by?
By the Dark One's taint.
Thank you.
Obviously.
Thank you.
Drink. So I have a prediction of how they're going to change things up.
All right.
Okay.
We should have some kind of bet. I think the IL is going to show up in the next episode or the final. They're going to show up in the next 2 episodes.
I could see that.
That would be interesting. I mean, they've already dropped. We already
already
saw
seen one.
We've already seen one dead ale, whatever.
Aiel.
So just like you guys don't like their pronunciation of Tar Valon, I do not like their Aiel pronunciation. It's just ale. It's only 4 letters. Like you don't need to add more consonants, more emphasis to it. Anywho,
listen, the definitive pronunciations come from the Audible book. The narrators talked to Robert Jordan and learned how to pronounce all these things, and they say Aiel.
All right. Listen. It might be
they
true.
Also said Tar Valon, so we'll see. The show might change it.
Anyway, I mean, I think we're gonna get a little of the Borderlands. I think we're gonna get a. I think the final episode is probably gonna be a mixture of the Blight leading to the Eye of the World showdown. Like, I don't know if the Eye of the World scene, because of what it is, if we need an hour of just it, but maybe depends on how they're going to visualize it. Because as Andy and I have talked about, the end of book 1 is a little troubling. Yeah. So not troubling, it's just confusing. And not going to look good in video form.
I hope we get a maybe a little bit of a flashback on land. And
I bet we do. And like the kingdom, what it used to be like in him as a baby. I would love that.
Here's a question. How are they going to pronounce the kingdom that he came from? Malakir?
No.
Malakir?
Malkir.
Malkir. Taishar Malkir.
Yeah, Taishar Malkir.
All right, we'll see.
Again,
I have no preference. I'm just curious because the show sometimes goes audiobook and then sometimes just like, no, we're shorting this.
And the books do have like a pronunciation guide in them.
They do,
or like one of the his addendum companion books.
Yeah,
because I needed more.
You need more homework with this. Yeah.
All right. I
also really like the clothing. Can we just talk about that for a second?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All of them. From all the main characters. What was going on with Rand's pants? He had like a holster thing.
I don't know.
I liked it.
Where did he get those fancy pants? Those are fancy pants.
I like the shirt. Yeah. I don't know where they got this money from when they were on the road. I'm assuming they just did extra work because they were able to afford a knife.
Yeah. He's not selling his giant bow that we know because we've seen it.
When they're traveling, they're back in their
I thought you were going to go a different direction when you said giant.
Land's clothing was awesome, and you could tell, you could see some of that similar clothing in other people there, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought the Amerlin's dress and how all the other Aes Sedai was incredible. Yeah. And I like that fact that because up until now, we've really only seen them in their colors because that's kind of how they present. But then behind closed doors and other times you can wear whatever. So you even mentioned that you had blues wearing red, which they are kind of the mortal enemies of
Yeah.
the like political world. It's like, but even Democrats and Republicans like will wear different colors.
Yeah, Democrats will wear red ties and Republicans will wear blue ties on occasion. It's very confusing for all of us. But
Yeah, I know. I think you mentioned this on a previous episode, but when there were promotional shots of Loyal, I was really concerned.
Yeah,
about
we
it.
all
It looked
were.
weird, but I don't know if it's the way the actor has.
Yeah.
The actor has killed it. I think that really helped a lot.
It made it to where the costuming, the makeup, everything. It feels more natural. So
Yeah,
I
'cause
guess I could try. Like you said,
yeah.
maybe it's the actor, the way he's able to wear. He's very charming.
Yeah, well, the showrunners talked about like the only way that this character was going to work was if people could look at a real person and talk with them, and that he could look at real people and talk to them.
Yeah.
And so they had to make it practical. And I'm
Otherwise,
100% okay with
I'd
that.
rather have more Loyal in the books
Yes.
than have him look more what I imagined, but have him in as much because they couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
It's like the Game of Thrones wolves.
Yeah.
I would have preferred less like these are the wolves and have like more like huskies if it meant that they were in the books more, or the TV show more.
Yeah, and not just taking Husky and then expanding it in Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
But so okay, so let's try to finish an episode under an hour for once.
Okay.
So we've gone through our predictions. So we all seem to be in agreement. We're happy with the show at this moment.
Oh, I'm
Correct?
thrilled with
Yeah.
it. This was
Yeah.
great. I'm gonna go watch it again when I get home.
Yeah, I'm the books to me always sort of I would say fouled off their endings. I was never satisfied that they always seemed to like end and then I had to go read the next book to
Robert Jordan's not great at endings.
He's not great at endings, so I'm very curious about how they're going to end this season because they crammed a lot, and I feel like we critiqued it a lot, but they did a lot of skipping early on. And now that I saw this episode, I'm like, you know what? Good. Like, getting to this was important.
I'm glad they let this episode breathe, right?
They did.
They could easily have tried to condense this and get them in the ways earlier.
If they if this episode began with them all finding each other and then heading off to the other world, that would have been too fast.
Yeah.
And I think you got a little bit more nuance in characters. So my favorite nuance, because I just remembered this, is because we haven't gotten a lot from Egwene yet. But my favorite is when the Amerlin was like, oh, we have someone who's been more powerful, the most powerful Aes Sedai in 1,000 years. And you see Egwene like puff up a little bit, and then him Nynaeve. And she's such a go-getter that bugs everything else.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like it's just strive for a go-getter.
It's like,
that she visibly deflated.
Yeah.
And I was there
That was
for
a
it.
great character
I
moment.
loved it. Like,
Well,
that was the best character moment, I think. In an episode full of character moments and like subtle things, that one killed me.
Well, like Egwene, like she works for it. Like
Egwene.
Was that?
Nothing. I'm just gonna correct
That's
directly
fine.
into the mic and
That's
let you
fine.
keep talking.
That's fine. In the books, like she's good because she works hard at it. Nynaeve like just has it.
No, she had a lot of potential too.
That's true.
Egwene
But like,
does, yeah.
and she wants that power. So one of the things that we haven't seen yet that hopefully they'll get into more is that they've mentioned it, but I said like if they reach too far or go too fast, they can burn themselves out.
Right.
And we'll see that Egwene is always at that point where she wants the most. She wants to be there. She, can't be held back. And I think we're starting to see that. And that kind of attitude was perfect with that thing. And
that was great.
That
scene was great. I didn't think we were gonna get it, and I was very excited we did. Cause like Nynaeve is just so arrogant, and the Emerald just like, bitch, please, like, we don't like. Things are happening. We don't get to just decide, like, to live a simple life and, marry a dude and raise kids and not give a shit. Like, the world.
Why is it gotta be a dude?
Yeah, marry a woman. Or your two warders,
Why is it gotta
whatever.
be a woman? Why can't it be a thruple, a quadruple?
I was like, is she marrying a Trolloc? What's happening? That was a
this
great.
This isn't Mistborn.
Yeah. This was a great episode, and I liked how I feel like Moraine had a lot of Gandalf stances, like the way the camera like bent around her, and she had like epic staring into the distance sort of scenes.
Yeah.
And because she's back, where she can like put on makeup, like looks fancier than she did when she was like traveling on horseback. She looked strong and fantastic, and just crushed it. Even though like to everyone else, it looks like she failed. She succeeded, and that's what was exciting.
Yeah.
So
I do hope we get more of Moraine and Swan's backstories, which a lot of that comes from the prequel novel.
a new spring, right? Or the new spring? A new spring.
I
Whatever.
think that's it.
It's in the
But
spring.
I love the character moments in that book, so I hope they bring at least a few of those, you know, and some of them show up later on when they're out in the world,
Yes.
away from the tower. You get some of those tied in.
Yeah.
Spoiler: Sawan does not like horses.
No, it's a real Gandalf situation.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, well, Chris, thank you for finally being able to join us.
Yes.
To our viewers and listeners who have like sent Facebook comments or YouTube comments, thank you. We are excited that you care about whatever this is, and please make sure to subscribe on YouTube or subscribe to the audio podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Andy, thank you again for the use of the Inner Circle Vodka Bar here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and
Cheers.
Cheers to the Dark One's tank.
We're
To the Dark One's
definitely
tank.
drinking some usquai, which I hope also shows up in the show. It's basically moonshine.